Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Here is Great Western Trail, the first edition, and Great Western Trail, the second edition. First thing you notice, the box sizes are exactly the same. This one is going to have a little bit more artwork. Most people did not like the artwork on this by Stronghold Games and Edgar Spill. Here, same company, Stronghold's no longer attached to it. Any upgrade in the artwork. So the boxes, this one probably feels a little bit better, more durable, but I don't know. This one's older. Let's just say it's a wash. Which artwork do you like? This one never really bothered me. I kind of like the motif and the train coming through. This one's pretty beautiful. So that's a personal preference. The boxes don't matter that much. Let's see what's inside. First thing you're going to notice is this has no sort of insert. These are things I added in. So these red things do not come with it, nor do these. So everything just has to be bagged up and thrown in here. This one is going to have an insert where things can kind of fit in here. So that is going to be a big difference in the two. So the second edition is going to come with an insert, so you don't have to buy a third-party one. Let's open up and see what's inside the rest of the stuff. Let's start here. The first thing with the second edition, you are going to get a solo adventure. You're going to be able to have solo rules, be able to play through those. This is not included in the first edition whatsoever. So the ability to play solo is included in the new edition. That's important to you. Right there would be a no-brainer to get this one. The second edition is going to come with a nice little player area that tells you about all of the buildings, the A set and the B set. This book does not come with it. This one will, so you have your own little sheet. You can pass this around to the people if you so desire. So this is included in the second edition. This is also probably something you can print off of BGG, but just know that it comes with the second edition. Here are the two rule books. I'm not going to go through them in great detail. The second edition has been cleaned up. There are some balancing issues in this one. I think it's a little bit cleaner of a setup here that you're going to have in here. I like all of this that you're going to have. I think it's laid out a little better. The game's a little deep. I don't feel like the rulebook is 100% great, although I didn't have any problems learning the game. But I do feel like this one might be a little bit better, and there may be some upgrades in the rulebook for this one. But if you already know how to play this one, that won't be a difference to you. So first off, this one's going to come with bags for the 1, 2, and the 3s that you'll be putting out. This one doesn't have any bags at all. So I had to get these little holders to hold the little different ones in and put them in. The bags are a nice inclusion, if that's important to you, but that's in the second edition only, does not come in the first edition. Here's an example of a player mat in the first edition. It's going to be flat, kind of flimsy, and you'll have to put pieces on there. The second edition, you're going to see a humongous upgrade here. You're going to have recessed pieces in here. Not a whole lot of differences, really, in what you're seeing, etc. Some of the artwork choices are a little bit different. You might enjoy those. They have more racially diverse, and there's a gender swap here that happened from the first one. And the colors are different. So purple is here and purple is there. I might screw with it a little bit, but these boards, from quality standpoint, you can see the quality with the recessed is much, much better in the second edition. If that's important to you and you don't like things kind of moving around, somebody bumps the table, the second edition is going to be a huge upgrade. At least it was for me. There is an inclusion in the second edition for the solo. Of course, with the solo rules, you're going to get solo components. That's not found in the first edition. So the tiles are about the same. The shape's a little bit different because it's going to fit into the recessed part of the board, but no big difference here. As you can see, I can't really tell a difference in quality whatsoever. The artwork is a little different, of course. You're going to have some gender swaps and more racial diversity in this one. You're going to have African Americans and whites in this one. It's mainly whites, I think, with the Native Americans. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. But the tiles, just about the same. The only main difference is the inclusion of the bags in the second edition. The coins in the 2 edition are going to be cardboard. I might like the feel of the first edition a little bit better. I don't know. It's kind of a wash to me. You can decide what you like better, but they kind of the same. No real main difference in them. This one says Great Western Trail on the back. This one just has a number on both sides. One of the nice upgrade touches from the first one, you're going to have like little cowboy meeples with a little hat on. And this one, you're going to get a nude-colored meeple with a cowboy hat on. Some people said these are a little top-heavy and don't stand up perfectly. I haven't had a whole lot of problems with them. I think they're super duper cute and they worked fine for me, but your mileage may vary. It's a matter of personal opinion. This is the first edition, and the second edition all come with these little cute colored hats on. So the red is from the first edition here. It's little circles are used in the trains. The yellow is from the second edition. I can't see any difference. The sizes appear to be the same. If this was the same print job, you would convince me very easily of that. No change here. So the tile on your left is your first. This one here is the first edition. This one is the second edition. Now, some of these have been changed for balancing issues. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But as for quality, this one seems a little brighter in the first edition. It seems like it pops a little bit, where this one seems to have a more of an old-timey look. It doesn't pop as much. Maybe the colors aren't as vibrant, just personal preference. I kind of enjoy the vibrant colors I do in games. I don't like muted colors very much, but your preference may vary. Quality-wise, they feel the same to me. The card on the left is from the first edition. This one's from the second edition. Once again, I think this pops a little more. This one, a little bit different. You do have little signals at the bottom, and the numbers at the top and the bottom are gone. Now the numbers are just at the top. Some people have said the second edition ones are a little bit cheaper. I don't feel that. I can't really feel the difference. Maybe, but it's not noticeable to me. I'm not really a snob about these things. To me, this is a wash. Here is the first edition board. Some of the minor changes, they have taken the Native Americans out, which may be a little un-PC to you, and they've included bandits. That's one of the biggest dramatic changes from a cosmetic standpoint. Here is the second edition board, which they're exactly the same size. You can see there's a little bit more artwork maybe. The colors are muted a little bit more, but it works primarily the same, other than balancing issues and stuff. So instead of the Native Americans being in the game, you now have bandits that are robbing you, I suppose. There has been some balancing issues. There's some changes up here to the town and what you're doing up there. I'm not going to get into each little change, but just kind of know they tweaked it a little bit. Been mixed results. Some people like it, some people don't. It's always going to have effect with balancing. The big issue is going to be the Native Americans for the bandits. Now, some of the changes through here is that the bandits are going to give you positive points. Sometimes Native Americans, they would give you negative points. There is an extra expansion with more cows. That will be in this one. That comes with the second edition, does not come with the first edition. So there is a little bit extra in it you're going to have in here. And there's some exchange tokens that you can utilize. Now at first, one of the big things about the first edition people wanted was the Rails expansion was out and available. When second edition was released, it was not. So that was one reason why people would keep the first edition. That expansion is now available, readily available for the second edition of the game. So if that was something holding you back, you can definitely get more with the second edition. You have the solo variant, you have the 2 extra expansions, and then the same expansion that was released for the first one has now been released for the second edition. So this is Great Western Trail first edition versus the second edition. Which one do I prefer? I actually prefer the Native Americans in the game. I like their representation, and I feel like taking them out does a disservice to the game. As for the gender swaps and the racial swaps, that is up to your personal preference, but I do feel like the Native Americans are missing. They were part of the Great Western Trail. They were part of that, and it's bizarre that they're no longer in the game. But instead you have bandits, and bandits are always fun in these kind of games, and really they're just swapped out. There's no real difference in gameplay. Little minor tweaks, but not a whole lot. Which edition should you get? I'm pretty sure this one's going to be cheaper. So if you don't love the game and you just like it, and you want to play Great Western Trail, this will be the edition to get. If you're a huge fan and you don't mind the upgrades and little tweaks and the upgraded components, and you don't want to nitpick it a little bit too much, as I feel some people have done, the second edition is a beautiful edition. It does have the upgraded components, it has the insert that comes with it, and it has the additional expansions and solo game. If solo game doesn't matter to you, and you'll never play the solo, then that won't go into the equation. Maybe you'll lean a little bit more towards this version of the game. For my money and my taste, I'm going to stick with the second edition. I'm going to get rid of the first edition. I have to say that Great Western Trail is one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. So this is coming from a fan of the series. Highly recommend Great Western Trail. And if you're going to get one of these, you're going to be happy with either one, although I lean towards the second edition.